Hi, my name is Favor. I am a musician, I'm a composer, arranger, performer, and a music teacher. I play 9 different instruments and I've been learning music since I was 7 years old. As a teacher and as a student myself, I find that practicing is one of the hardest tasks to get started with and to stay consistent with. But over the years, I've developed a system that has helped me to be on top of my practice. With just these 6 tips, I promise you by the end of this video, you would find that practicing is much easier than you think it is. Number 1 is scheduling. Always schedule your time for practice every single week. I would recommend for a beginner, somebody who is just starting out, to dedicate 30 minutes 3 times a week to practicing. If you're an aspiring career musician or you're more advanced in your music journey, you would want to spend more time developing your craft. But if you're just starting off, start with 30 minutes 3 times a week. Now, if you're like me, following a rigid schedule might be a little difficult for you and it may make the task seem even more daunting than it is. So if scheduling it and just carving out a block in your day saying I'm going to practice from 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that works for you, then great, do that. But if you're more like me and rigid schedules like that doesn't motivate you to do a task, especially if you struggle to keep track of time, have your practice be carved out in a way that doesn't require a specific time every day, but make it a part of your daily routine. So instead of saying 3 to 3:30, maybe you'll say, well, as soon as I get home from work, I'll take a nap and then I'll spend 30 minutes practicing. It doesn't matter what time you do it, but you know that's when you're going to spend 30 minutes after you wake up from your nap. Or maybe before I watch my favorite show tonight, I'm going to practice for 30 minutes. So it doesn't have to be like a timetable, but make sure you know when you are going to practice every week. Now, while I would recommend 30 minutes 3 times a week as a baseline, every music teacher would have a different approach to practice and how much practicing you should do. So discuss it with your music teacher because their teaching methods might suit the way that they tell you to practice better. Number 2, plan your practice sessions. Make sure that before you get behind your instrument to practice, you know exactly what you're about to do. Whether it's practicing repertoire or working on exercises or studies, if you go into it and you're now thinking about what you're going to do, you're going to spend that time figuring it out, and it makes the task seem a little bit more intimidating because you're going to think about all the things that you would have to practice and all of your goals, and that makes it a little bit harder to get started. So plan ahead of time what you are going to practice before you get to your practice session. Number 3, I think, is one you definitely may not have heard before, but stay healthy. Try your best to eat well and exercise and drink a lot of water, get enough rest, and take care of your mental health. Because when you are not feeling well, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, it's going to be much more difficult to practice. And very often we struggle to practice because we didn't get enough rest the night before or we're exhausted from work. So you want to make sure and take care of your health first before you try to take care of practicing. When you are healthy, practicing becomes so much easier. Number 4 is to make sure and be comfortable. Don't just get into your practice session and start practicing. You want to make sure that the space you are in is a space that you feel safe in. It's a space that's clean, preferably an aesthetic that you like, but just make sure that it's clean and it's comfortable, because it's a lot easier to adjust to the space and start the task when you're not feeling overwhelmed in that space. Also, make sure that what you're wearing is comfortable. Like I find it difficult to practice if I'm in like really skinny jeans or if I'm wearing shoes that are uncomfortable. I prefer to practice bare feet, depending on what I'm practicing. If it's something that I have to stand and practice, I prefer to be bare feet because it's just easier to focus on what I'm doing when I don't have to study something uncomfortable on me. So make sure that you're feeling comfortable. It's very similar to being healthy, because if you're not feeling healthy, you won't feel comfortable. When it comes to comfort, you want to consider your instrument and whether the height is adjusted appropriately to suit your body, whether the seat you're on is adjusted appropriately for your body. If you're sitting in a seat that isn't ideal for the instrument that you're playing, like for instance, if you're sitting on a chair when you're playing drums, or you have an armchair and you're playing guitar, those things really make your practice a little bit more difficult, and then you find it harder to play whatever instrument you're playing. Make sure it's set up to suit your body in the most ideal way that you could possibly manage at the point in time. Number 5 is warm up, warm up, warm up. Warm up your mind, warm up your body, warm up your hands. And by hands, I mean whatever you use to play your instruments, whether it's your voice, your feet if you play drums, or it doesn't matter. When I say hands, I just mean the part of your body that directly plays the instrument. So you want to warm up your mind, warm up your body, and then warm up your hands. You have to get your mind attuned to the space that you're in, get your mind attuned to what you're doing. You might be studying things that happened before, things that happened yesterday, things that are going to happen tomorrow, and you want to make sure that those things aren't on your mind while you're practicing, so that you could really retain everything that you learned and figured out while you were practicing. You want to warm up your body, because we think sometimes that it's just our hands that we use to play whatever instrument we play, but every single instrument involves your entire body. No matter how simple you think it is, it requires your entire body to be attuned to what you're doing. So you don't want to just warm up your mind and your hands, you want to warm up your body. Number 6 is anything, we bless the Lord.
I did what I could, and I could what I did on that exam. Anything, we bless the Lord. Understand? And what couldn't be did not be done because it could have did. And we praise God.
Don't go into your practice session with an all or nothing mentality. Whatever you do is going to contribute positively to your progress as a musician. So even if you just listen to the song during your practice time, or you hum it, or you think about the notes and see if you can remember them, maybe you tap out the rhythms, you do your finger in the air or on your table. Count anything that is related to your progress as a musician as practice. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. You don't want to just sit down and decide, well, because Favor on YouTube say that anything is anything, we bless the Lord, I just go in and not practice today. This is in case for some reason maybe you're not feeling well, or maybe you just didn't have the mental capacity that day to practice. Maybe you just didn't have the time for it. All of that is understandable, and that's what this is for, because you want to make sure that regardless of what is happening, you're going to contribute some way to your progress rather than doing nothing. So do something. If you have to take one thing away from this video, remember that. I hope that this video was beneficial to you. I promise if you implement these 6 things into your practice, you are going to find that practicing is so much easier. If you want more tips, you could comment below and ask any questions that you have. And if you want to connect further with me, you can check the links in the description box. Thank you for watching.